Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode here at Happiness is a Healthier Habit with me, your nutrition coach. My name is Jackie Poole, and I am the host of this show. I'm so glad you're joining me here today. We are traveling, we are having fun, and the big question is, how do I maintain all that hard work that I've done these past few weeks, these past few months, right? So let me just give you an update on how life is going, how summer is going. I hope it's going super fun for you. Everybody that I see is out on the sun, enjoying the pools. So we actually live in Texas and it's oh my God, it's so hot outside. It is humid. We were in Houston last week with my father-in-law, just hanging out and visiting him after my husband's surgery. And, we needed a place to go. He was kind of getting bored just being in the house. So he needed a change of scenery. So we drove down there, didn't really do much, just kind of hanged out with the family and said hi to a few people that were close to us. And so that was really nice, and he's actually recovering very well. But coming back to this weather, it is super hot, super humid, and so we have pool days that are like 3 hours long. Yesterday, we were at the pool for 2.5 hours, and my kids are toasted. They are a nice golden tan that I know some ladies would love to have. Me, on the other hand, I literally turn black if I spend like 5 minutes in the sun. So I, of course, lather myself with sunscreen. I was doing some work by the pool and just watching them swim. So it's been really nice. And again, I hope your summer has been going super fun and you're doing lots of fun activities, especially when the kids are home. It's always nice to take the family out to do fun things, right? So, things that are going on and hard to do when you're traveling are people question, how do I maintain? How do I keep my goals? I don't want to fall off. They have that worrisome in the back of their heads, like, what if, right? There might be a thought of maybe I shouldn't travel. I shouldn't go do this because what if it messes up my routines, my goals? And I'm here to tell you that it's called life, it's called seasons, it's called having fun. And so there's always things that should be done, things that can be pushed to the side, things that are super important to have. And this is where those daily habits, those daily routines that are super important to have, so you can kind of carry on and take those really essential things to your vacationing mode, right? Whether it be just you and your husband, you and your family, traveling, driving a lot, air flying, all of these things definitely have, factors that come along with traveling, and, not being prepared is one of the most things that can affect you, right? And so we're going to talk about things to do while we're traveling. And for me, some things that did not change that I managed to do and came prepared with when we went to my father-in-law's house was really falling back on those daily habits, on those things that I normally do at home. And some of those things are actually super simple. Is one, making sure that I am drinking the water I should be, right? Especially right now, it's super hot. We sweat when we're just like 5 minutes outside. It's super important to stay hydrated and drinking water throughout the day. Of course, something that I did bring with me from my house was this nice little jug that I made sure I carry and filled it up with water throughout the day. So I kind of keep track, right? We're not really counting calories, counting macros when we're traveling or anything like that. We're having fun, right? It's something that unless you're on a super competition or something, that is something that you might want to do. But when you're vacationing, living life, having a lifestyle, just prioritizing and having that water, right? Number 2 was making sure I was getting my 8,000, 10,000 steps, right? While we were down in Houston, we actually decided to get an upgrade on our watches, and we ended up buying my son a watch that also keeps track of his steps. And, it's really cool. He can make calls from the watch, from phones that we add to his cellular device. And it's just a watch and it counts his steps. And it's been really fun to have him go on walks on his own, trying to beat us, having a competition now between, my husband, me, and him. So that's been really nice to incorporate, excuse me, throughout the day with him. So that's something also that we kept in mind, trying to hit our step goal, our move goal, because, we tend, when we're vacation, that's kind of not hard to do when you're out walking and discovering new places. But in our case, we just kind of went and saw family, and my husband was still not able to do a lot and move around that much. So walking is the only activity that he's really able to do right now. So that was really nice to implement those walkings too. Make sure we're getting our steps. And, something that didn't change was that morning walk. We all got up, or I got up, or me and my husband got up, and we went on our walk. It was great to have a different scenery, different view, different people, saying hi to new faces. It was really great to have this, change of scenery from our normal neighborhood walks, because sometimes it can become very boring to go on that same walk every day, day after day after day. So this past week, it was really great just to change of pace, change of views, change of people. And so it was really great to do that, to add that to the routine. So again, when traveling, when you're going to be places, make sure you're drinking your water, you're keeping your, active, whether it's your steps or you're walking, some kind of movement. And again, usually when people are traveling, they travel to places, they go different, states or countries, and they roam a lot more. So maybe walking might not be that difficult, especially when you're doing that. If you're taking the kids out to like Six Flags or some type of amusement park, you're usually walking, right? So getting the steps, getting your walk in shouldn't be that hard. And again, we of course did it first thing in the morning because it's super hot outside here in Texas. And so number 3 would be, like I said before, not really tracking your foods, enjoying what you're going out to eat, or, things like that. For example, something that I did make a priority that I really focused on was trying to make protein a center of my meal for most of where we were eating. We were eating quite a bit out a lot from different restaurants. And so every meal, I was just making sure that I had some kind of protein, and just to keep me satiated and full, and make sure I was kind of getting, but I was never tracking. I was kind of eyeballing. This is where that intuitive eating comes in, and kind of being aware of what's going on and the choices that you're making, right? And now, like some restaurants tips that you should be aware of is maybe just eating half of the portion. I do want to remind you, those restaurant portions can be a full day's, whole entire meal calories. And so they are saturated in sauces and sugars and oils that you don't know. And let me tell you, I was craving some pasta, and one of those days we went to Cheddar's, this very economical place to go. They have a variety of foods, and I got pasta, and I only ate half. I skimped it on the bread, and I took the second half home, and I got to enjoy that the next day. So it has its benefits when you split your meals, because they definitely give you a really nice portion that you don't need all of it, right? So splitting your meals at restaurants will also help you kind of be aware, more mindful, and really keep you guilt-free, right? Because you get to eat what you wanted and you don't feel super full, super miserable if you decide to eat that entire thing, right? And so things that I also carried with me were things from home because we were traveling and driving just a few hours away from home. There's things that I brought from my own home. Like I brought meals that I had already cooked. So the first 2 days, I already had a couple of lunches and dinners that I didn't have to worry about. It was really easy to take with me. I brought me some snacks. I brought me some fruits. Again, I brought my water jug, some nuts. We love those salted almonds. And so those are really easy things to pack and carry with me if we're driving. So that made it super easy to not really be thinking. And even when you're flying to different places, it's really easy to, it's definitely going to be less expensive if you buy groceries and cook with them, right? So restaurants definitely, hotels really have been great for having fridges, but when you buy like Airbnbs or condos and things like that, they tend to have stoves. And so you can definitely cook your own meals. It's going to be less expensive and all of the things that come with that, right? But going out to restaurants, whatever works for you, just being mindful and making of those decisions will also help you stay on track and not really deviate from what you're trying to do if you really have some goals or to just maintain, right? Because we have to think about the decisions that we make and not every day can be so indulgent. We want to enjoy, we want to really enjoy all the things that we want to try, especially when we're traveling, but also being mindful of our body and how that affects us. Because sometimes we can feel super miserable, super bloated, everything that comes when we're not used to eating all of these foods. And also something that I did make sure to bring with me was my vitamins. It's super important for me to carry those, especially because, again, we're not eating the cleanest, we're not eating our best. So definitely, I always have my vitamin D, my omegas, my probiotics, my zincs, my vitamin B complexes. They are like on my hands down things that I carry, prepare them. So I'm not worried about, I forgot to take this, or it will help you also stay aligned, stay more focused, and just keep you on track with your nutrients. Sometimes you can feel sluggish and some might be a nutrient deficiency. And if you're going out for a very long time, like for us, we went out for a week. I really wanted to make sure that at least I was getting good stuff in me, right? So that was the easiest way to do that. Just kind of pack that with me along with my clothes and all of my personal belongings. So quality supplements do help. And I do want to remind you that you can definitely purchase prescription vitamins or supplements like that from my dispensary, and the link will be below. So check that out, and I think you have like a 10% off, and you really can find everything you need from vitamin D to my favorites, all of those things. There's no subscription. You order as you need, and they are delivered right to your door. Hey there, I hope you're enjoying this summer, enjoying this episode today, and I want to remind you it is the summer. We're all having fun, and maintaining is really important. But if you are really focused on trying to lose weight right now, if that's something that you're aspiring or you're having a hard time doing, with the kids at home and you don't think this is possible, that's what coaching is. I am here to help you to lose the weight with a step-by-step system, whether it be a one-time protocol or a 3-month process. I am here for you to give you the accountability, the results that you want to have for a lifetime. So don't think about it. Schedule your consultation call. The link is below. Now back to the show. Now, when we talk about traveling and having fun, you really just want to enjoy your trip, right? And some of these habits are easy. They come easy to me. And I don't want to gloat. It's something that I'm not trying to do, but I'm trying to let you know when you have these routines, these habits already developed, it's not hard to decide to get these done. So it was super easy to incorporate walks on my own, walks with a family, a couple walk, whatever it worked, but we got moving, we got things done. So, it doesn't have to be perfect as long as you're consistent. You don't have to be hyper focused on, routines while you're enjoying all of these, foods and traveling and places, but that's what's life. It's called living. And, there's seasons where you're going to be able to enjoy these things. And there's seasons where, you might be a little more strict, more rigid. And, how you have goals and you're trying to lose the weight and, stay focused. And that's what makes life, it has its ups and downs. And, having the ice cream, having the occasion to drink is not going to be the end of the world. But it's when we have those good habits established that we can get back into our regular routines, get back on track when we come back to our life from all that traveling and all that fun. And speaking of that, I do remind you, when you strength training, because I'm going to bring that in here today, when you do that, that will also help you definitely indulge in all of those other foods that you want to eat. Some people are, their bodies, if they overeat too much, their body will automatically turn that into fat. And it's because they are super focused on just cardio and adding that muscle to your body, that endurance, that strength will help your metabolism handle all of those things and ups and downs that you might be going through, especially, during the summer, we have all of this time and traveling and fun. And so strength training will definitely help your body kind of be able to take all of that in without really hurting, what you're trying to do, and help you maintain it, without that guilt, without that pressure, without that negative connotation of, oh my God, I'm going to gain weight if I do too much of this, or I have to go back and run like 3 miles. So always strength training is going to be a better option when it comes to your metabolism, and you'll be able to indulge in a lot more, I want to say fun foods, right? Than if you were not to be doing strength training. So always try to incorporate that as well with your steps, with your movement. So let's review, right? Let's review some of the best things that you can do while traveling, while having fun, and to help you maintain your weight. So number 1 is walking. Number 2 is staying hydrated, especially with this heat, especially if you're sweating a lot. You need to fuel up on those electrolytes. I always add lemon and maybe a little bit of salt in your water if you're really sweating and moving a lot, right? Number 3 is splitting your meals at restaurants, not eating the entire portion. Number 4 is things to carry with you. As I mentioned before, things to carry are maybe some snacks, some fruits, some pre-made meals. If you're driving, make sure you take your water container. Being prepared will make a huge difference for a few days to keep you kind of on track and not fall and derail, right? And number 5, last one, is maybe cook some of your meals while you're out traveling. It's going to be less expensive. It's going to be less, if you're really worried about what you're eating at restaurants, you'll have more control. And so that's something to keep in mind as well, as part as you'll be saving a lot of money when you do that. And I hope today's episode was super helpful, and I'm so glad you joined me today. And I can't wait to talk to you next time. Bye.